Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and if you like what you see, please subscribe. Hi, I'm going to do a review of the Overland by TJ Schwarz. I have done an unboxing and a first impressions video of this, but this is going to be a review of me actually having used this knife for a while. So this knife is made by a designer who is in Pennsylvania, I believe, which is my home state. It was reviewed by Nick Shabazz, and so I went ahead and got one. I got it because it was made in Magnacut, and it was right when Magnacut was coming out. It took me a long time to get it, but when I got it, I took it camping with me twice or three times. I did an initial video about it. But this is more of a, like, I've actually used this knife type video. So I've used it pretty hard in the kitchen as well as camping a couple of times. And that's what it's really used for, is a utility knife around the campsite. You can kind of tell from its shape and everything that that's what it's made for. It has an optimizer, or not an optimizer, but it has an engine on it where you can, on his website, where you can pick out what kind of materials you want used on it, the coloring on it, and all sorts of things. So that's really cool. I like the options that you can build your own, and it has different price features for that. I got the OD green because I like that for camping knives. And I like the color, I like the texture of it. It's done really nicely. Now, it's pretty smooth, but because the tang actually extends past the scales, it provides a little bit of gription there. And it also has this nice jimping here, which isn't too aggressive, although it's a little bit on the aggressive side, but everything is very well rounded. You're not going to be able to strike a fire starting steel with this because of the rounded edges. But you should be using another knife for that kind of bushcraft anyway. I like the blade shape to it. It's very good for cooking and cutting down onto surfaces. You're never, you can cut down onto surfaces really nicely and use the full blade while you're doing that to cut up all your vegetables and everything else you're going to need in the kitchen. The Magnacut did get a little bit of patina, which I was surprised about. I didn't dry it off after I washed it, and it did come up with a couple of spots of patina, which I found surprising for Magnacut. And I think it was because I was using it for lemons and stuff, and maybe the lemons gave it a little bit of patina. It's not this whole thing. This is just the finish. But there are a couple of little spots, like right there, that showed up after use. And I found that surprising, given that this was Magnacut. This was heat treated to 61, 62. And some people are saying that you should really heat, to get the most out of your steel, you should heat it up to 64, but I can understand why you do it a little bit less to save on the grinding costs and other stuff. That being said, this isn't going to be a hard use knife. I'm not going to be batoning with it, so I don't really mind the fact that it's a little bit less. I am a little curious why this patina ended up showing up on the knife. Because I have other Magnacut knives, and that hasn't been a problem at all on any of my other Magnacut knives. And I've probably got another 8 or 10 knives made with Magnacut, and I've never seen that on another knife. So I don't know what's up with that. The ergos on this are great, I think I said already, and you can choke up on it really nicely or hold it back here. As far as shaving with it, or making shavings from wood to start a fire, it works really well for that. It stayed very sharp. I haven't had any problems. I think I've stropped it once or twice, but it's still pretty much factory edge, super sharp. It'll do a scroll cut on paper. The lanyard hole is there, and it's not like a primary feature or anything, and it's not very aggressive, so that's fine. I like all the rounding on this, like this whole, the handle here, the way that it's rounded everywhere, and then the tang comes up above here, but it's fully, all the edges have been knocked down really nicely. I find that really good. The whole knife has been really crafted very well. The sheath that it comes with is great, and it locks in place really well. Now, as I've used it more and more in and out of its sheath, it's been easier to get out and in. It's never going to fall out because it really sticks in there. But when I first got it, I felt it was almost too stiff. But now it's kind of worked in there, and it's much better. And it hasn't, you know, there's a little bit of scrape mark right here where it's locking in place, but it's not over. It's not bad by any means. The Kyvex sheath itself is done very well with these rivets. I really like the brass rivets. It came with a clip that was just a plastic clip that kind of went on. I changed it out for an Ulti clip almost immediately. I like these Ulti clips a lot. And if you look at my past videos, you'll actually see a video where I show you how to install your own Ulti clip. It's pretty self-evident, but just in case you're interested, you can check out that video as well. So overall, I like this knife for my camp kitchen, and that's basically what I use it for. I also use it in my actual kitchen, and it sits inside my knife block, and I use it there too. Although there's other knives that are better in the kitchen for all-around cooking. This knife, however, really shines when you're in the campsite and you're prepping food and you don't want to bring your big Japanese knife and everything else. This is perfect. Like between this and the trout and mallard knife from North Arms, which I also have a Magnacut, and that's more like a Perry knife. Between that and this, that's all the knife I need in my camp kitchen for making really good meals. You know, I'm just now realizing I just want to point out that his symbol on here is great. I love his little symbol here. But the one thing that I don't like is that this is Magnacut, and you might as well, as a knife steel nerd, show off what you have. And there's no indication that this is made out of Magnacut. And I would really like that laser etched here somewhere or on the spine or something that it said Magnacut. But that's a small little quibble, really. And that's just a knife steel nerd in me speaking out. I think that's all I have for you today about this Overland. I think you should check it out, TJ Schwarz. There's going to be a link in the description for it. And I will also post a link in there of my initial impressions video and maybe something about the Ulti clip too and how to change it out. Thanks, guys, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And if you could give a like or subscribe, I'd really appreciate it as well. If you liked what you saw today, please tell a friend. And if you didn't like what you saw today, please tell an enemy. But please tell someone. I really appreciate the support that you guys are all giving me. And Happy New Year. See you next time on Sharp Ends. Have a great rest of your day.